One woman I remember yelling back, "This is the best day of my life. Best day of my life." This is somebody, I turned around, she was like 50 years old. You know, it wasn't like a 12-year-old. This is the best year of my life. I saw a grizzly bear today. You don't know how many people say that. I saw a grizzly bear. I saw my first grizzly bear. It's a phenomenon. It really is. And she does that. I mean, I help push that along and stuff, but, you know, I can't take credit for her. I mean, I really can't. First of all, when I moved here in 1978, there were no grizzly bears in Teton Park. They had been extirpated, you know, for 50 years. So they'd been shot off, killed off, trapped, or whatever. So you had to go to Yellowstone to see a bear, and at that time there's maybe 250, 300 bears in all of Yellowstone. So I would usually go to Alaska or Canada to see grizzly bears. Spring of 2006, I woke up to my Labrador going ape at something. I rose up and I saw this grizzly bear on my porch, and then the grizzly bear looked at Loop is his name, and like, go ahead and they're like this far apart between the glass, and like, go ahead and make my day, you know. So he just left. I'd never seen a grizzly here before, and that fall in September, somebody called me and said there's a grizzly bear with 3 coys, cubs of the year, young cubs, at the Oxbow Bend. So Sue, my partner then, and I went up to the Oxbow to see if we could get a picture of this, you know, pretty rare deal. And so we saw the bear out on the island of the Oxbow Bend eating something, probably a moose carcass or an elk carcass. But it was dark, and there was just a lot of, you know, willows and stuff in front of us. Didn't get a good picture, but it was really great because, you know, it's like, wow, grizzly bear in basically 20 miles north of my house. So he thought, well, that's great, it's a one-off deal, and my porch thing was a one-off deal, but, you know, we thought, well, let's go out and look some more. We never saw a bear the rest of the fall. So that spring, we were out in early April, and we heard that it was a grizzly bear with three yearlings, larger cubs, and it was the same bear. And we found out that it was a researcher had captured it and tagged it and collared it and at different times, and that it was about 10 years old, and it was the 399th bear that they had captured in the Yellowstone ecosystem, and so it was then called 399 after that. It's been an incredible experience to see her, and then the popularity that she has attained, and she's become the poster child for grizzly bear conservation pretty much in the world. There's no bear like her ever lived, you know, and I don't think that's debatable, but literally millions and millions and millions of people have come to Jackson Hole just to see her. In the fall, October, November, she had kicked her cubs out that spring in May. In early November, she started heading towards up Pilgrim Creek, where she dens every year up in the high country in the wilderness. and her belly was almost dragging on the ground. It was unbelievable how big she was. I mean, she was huge. I mean, like huge. And everybody did say, no, she's 24 years old, and she won't be able to have any more cubs. She's past, past prime. And I said, no, she's such a good. She's had 3 sets of triplets. She's had 3 sets of twins, a couple of singles. And she's a remarkable mother, and she's in good shape, and she's fat, and I said, I think she'll come out with triplets.
So during 2020, the park was closed for basically 2 months, from about mid-March to mid-May. And most of our staff was not out in the field per se. They were doing some of their projects, but the park was closed to visitors. And so wildlife may have had the run of the place for a while without very many people. Don't know that for sure. But we do know that when the park opened on May 18th, that was the first day that anyone had spotted 399 with her 4 cubs.
It's a very, very big deal to have quadruplet and at 24 years old. So, and she came out on this day last year, and I was up there, and I saw her walking down Pilgrim Creek. When we saw her coming down Pilgrim Creek, it was like, oh my God, she has 4 cubs. She said, okay, you don't think I can do it again? Yeah, watch this. And they're the cutest things. And they swam across the river, and they got caught in the stream, and she went down and talked one back, out of the stream, come, baby, And she kind of nuzzled it into the stream and stuff, and she ran down because it was getting swept down. The creek was flowing pretty fast, and I thought, oh my God, she can lose her cub right off the bat. And there was one little wee one, like a runt. And there's, maybe half again as big with it. There's no way that she's going to keep all 4 of them in a way. And I haven't thought that run is slower, getting swept down the river, small. And to keep all 4 is really, the percentages are really small.
For any koi or cubs of the year, it's approximately 50% of those cubs make it to the 2nd year. So statistics are about half of the cubs usually die the 1st or 2nd year of their life.
I will defend our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, ensuring that federal lands remain open for recreational shooting. We must put Wyoming in charge of Wyoming's wildlife management, including wolves, and permanently delist the fully recovered grizzly bear from the Endangered Species Act. I stand ready to fight for outdoor recreation.
People would like to shoot bears for fun, in other words, for sport, they call it, but it's not for sport. I grew up hunting and fishing. I know all about what sport is and what's not sport. It's not sporting to shoot a couch. She has shown people the beauty of her species, and her maybe wolves and cougars and whatever else that might be challenging to people to live with. But she's been able to negotiate living with people. So what we need to do is learn how to negotiate and live with her. But she's shown us kind of how to do that.
So I think what we're seeing is that the population of bears are transitioning or increasing in the southern area of the national park as well as further south. And these bears are wild. There's no gates to prevent them from one place or another, and they'll continue to survive and do their walkabouts as they feel appropriate or need to go for resources, for forage or whatever it may be. So we manage the bears while they're in the park, and then Wyoming Game and Fish manages the bears outside the park.
The cubs are wrestling and fighting and splashing, and you see this kind of behavior, and you see them snuggling and cuddling, and you think they're so much like us in a way. They are sentient, they're intelligent, incredibly intelligent, and they're terribly emotional. I mean, when she's lost a cub, she would foam with the mouth and run around like crazy woman losing her kid in, maybe a shopping mall. what we would do. She's down there nursing, she's sleeping, she's crossed the road once in 8 days. Once. She's a great bear. She hasn't bothered anybody, she's not looked at anybody, she hasn't charged anybody.
No.
And they're going to haze her because they want to get bears off the road. He doesn't want to see dead cubs. Well, they'll be dead if they do this. The game fish came up here and decided that they were going to rubber bullet the bear, chase away. They don't even come up here to see the dang bear. I haven't seen one game fish guy up here. I saw one car go by a week ago. They don't come up and look at the bears. They don't care about the bears. All they want to do is hunt the bears. They want to take them off the endangered species list. They got them off the endangered species list like 3 times. 2 years ago, they were dead set on killing 22 bears in Wyoming. Half of those bears were in this area. You know, this general area of maybe 100 square miles. But just outside the park. This bear is in the forest and it could have been killed. They wouldn't have cared about that. 399 comes in this area. 610 comes in this area, comes out of the park. They're not going to hunt in the park. They come out of the park, they could be vulnerable to get killed because the game fish would like to sell licenses for grizzly bears.
Right now, the cubs are really young. The game and fish guys are concerned, you know, about hazing cubs that young. But the highway patrol, we have a real issue here with traffic's being safe. So what we're going to kind of do is game and fish going to stand by, try not to have to haze anything. Highway patrol will stay here and try and make vehicles not stop, keep moving. And that way the bears are safe, the vehicles, drivers are safe, and it's the best we can do right now.
Thank God there are a few people like Todd Baxter and a few others, but boy, I tell you, I'm so disappointed in so many people. And if we don't start standing up, you were there, you stayed, and only half a dozen people out of 100 that were there, they left as soon as they were told to leave. And if everybody took their cameras and just filmed those guys that were going to crack her shell and chase her for no reason, she was nursing. I mean, they won't stop doing it, but we can't let them get away with it because they've gotten away with it for years.
Yeah, I don't think we made any firm commitments that we were absolutely were or weren't going to do anything last night. But you know, we did not shoot her with any rubber buckshot or anything that actually impacted her. They were across the road, and we felt like it was a good opportunity and just a good situation to try and encourage her to stay away. It was just something we kind of opportunistically did. We didn't do anything that impacted anything. We didn't do anything that touched any of those bears. All we did was make some noise.
The game fish guys told me last week when they were going to haze Felicia that they really care about the bears and they don't want to be picking them up on the road, you know, on the highway. And I said, well, then why did you want to have a hunting season on these same bears 2 years ago when they were taken off the endangered species list? So what is it? You know, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're hypocritical. They want to kill 22 bears, sell licenses. They killed 22 bears in Wyoming 2 years ago, and they were put back on the endangered species list, and they were upset that they weren't able to sell licenses to kill 22 bears. But now they're concerned about Felicia and her 2 cubs getting run over. I said, well, why don't you just, you know, let them take their chances like they've been doing the last, you know, she's been up there for 5-6 years.
So at Grand Teton National Park, we manage bears. So we manage a population of grizzly bears, which happens to include a very famous 399. So we don't manage just 399, we manage the entire population.
You know, that's what bugs the hell out of me. It does not sink in. And he goes back to the thing, we manage wildlife for populations, not for individuals like 399. Population. Again, it goes back to how many bears can we have in this ecosystem and how many can we spare to hunt? You know, there are a lot of people up there enjoy the bears. A lot of bear jams are, you know, they can be dicey, but on the other hand, they slow traffic down. If people, these big truckers, logging trucks and big semis, they're hauling ass up there 60, 70 miles an hour around these curves and stuff, and they're not going to be able to stop. And the bear jams, the people that are jams, people watching bears, they're slow, you know, they see all these cars, people slow down. So, for the bear's sake, it's not all bad. Kid comes up to me and says, Tom, Mr. Mangelsen, would you sign my bear book? I thought you might be on the highway. I was like, I'm always on the highway, I guess. So the teacher comes over, there's three big van loads of kids and some teachers with them. They're on the summer field trip. So we've been to Glacier, we've been to Yellowstone, we've been to Rocky Mountain Park, and this is the first time we saw bears. And these kids will remember this bear, and it was like 200 yards away, looking through this scope. They were all excited. This is the first bear these kids have seen. So I told this game warden guy, he says, you know, some idiot is going to shoot this bear right here, Felicia. That's an area they're going to hunt. These 30 kids, you're going to steal that experience because some idiot jackass wants to shoot a bear and put it on the wall, and you're going to steal. He said, oh, we figure we can take 12 bears from this area. We have a duty to give back, if nothing else. And we need people to stand up and shout now. I mean, really stand up and shout. She's the one that can help us appreciate nature, wilderness, her kind, and maybe bring us back to some sense of humanity, because we've lost it somewhere the last 4 years.